All right, my beautiful people, thank you for tuning in to the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. I'm your host, ERGJ, Certified Financial Educator, man. We are going through the book, 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John Maxwell. We're now into law number 6, Law of the Environment. And so, hey, hope you got the book. If not, we're just going to kind of roll through this thing, going through the law of environment. So just a quick recap. Law number 1, law of intentionality. You want to know where you want to go. Hey, if you don't know where you want to go, any road will get you there. Law number 2, law of awareness. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of those people that can actually mentor you and can help you step up. Law number 3, law of the mirror. What do you see when you look in the mirror? Hopefully you see great. Hopefully you see absolutely phenomenal and amazing. Law number 4, law of reflection. You want to reflect and capture your moments. Capture those moments. And then law number 5, law of consistency. Consistent action breeds success. And so now we are into the law of environment, saying that growth thrives in conducive surroundings. Growth thrives in conducive surroundings. Are you putting yourselves into situations on purpose that's going to force you or make you grow? If you are the smartest person in the room, it's time to find a new room. Why? Because your environment is going to pull you back down instead of pushing you up forward. And we got our co-host here, Pat, in the building. How are you, sir?
Phenomenal.
Absolutely phenomenal. So where did we leave off yesterday, Pat?
And so are you.
Yeah.
Okay. I got this from one of my coaches. It's a band you see me wear a lot.
Yeah.
And on it, it says, I am phenomenal, and so are you.
That's right. So are you. Fantastic, man. So, you know what? We're just going to talk about the law of environment. We got seats open. This is not a me show, it's a we show. So hopefully you guys are having a wonderful, plum-pleasing day, and we'll just keep this thing moving. So here's the deal. The law of environment, we talked about yesterday, that you have to make a choice to change, right? There's a time for you to change. You got to recognize it. Like, hey, you know, I think I mentioned that. Hey, I remember I've been in a lot of jobs where it's like I knew it was time to change, and did I go ahead and make the change? It's like, hey, it's time for me to move on. Sometimes you know when it's time to move on from that relationship. You know when it's time to move on from that job. You know when it's time to move on. But do you listen to that little inner voice that's saying, hey, there's no more growth here. Hey, you got to do something to make sure you put yourself in a position to continue to grow. You're either growing or you're not. You're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. You got to make that decision on which direction you're going each and every day. And so hopefully you put yourself in a situation where you're growing. And then your change depends on the choices. It depends on the choices. So there are some things that you actually can't change. They're like facts of life. But guess what you can change? You can change your attitude. You can change your perspective on how you look at those particular situations. And then there are situations that you can change. You can have an active role in actually making a change or actually solving the problem or overcoming the challenge. And so we find a lot of people who are having challenges in their life and they're not taking ownership to the things that they can change. That's the thing. Obviously, you can change your attitude, but then there's also some actions that you can take in those situations where you can actually solve the problem or overcome the challenge. Pat.
Well, and it reminds me of the wise old story about the sower of the seeds, right? And we sow ourselves. We have to decide where we're going to put our seed. And, you know, the story goes that some of it landed on the rocks and the sun came, got a little bit of heat, and they withered. And some were on the roadside and it wasn't in a good soil, you know, but there's some that actually landed in the good soil and it grew well. So are you putting yourself into that good soil? Are you putting yourself where it's the best environment for you? And that doesn't necessarily mean physically sometimes, because sometimes you can't change where you physically live, but you can change where your head is. You can change where your emotions are, and you can change where you are, even though you physically may still be in the same apartment, the same job. But is it the same job when you have a smile on your face as it is when you don't?
Yeah. That is why we have the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show, guys. So thanks so much for joining. Veda is in the building. Britt is in the building. Nikel's in the building. Mr. George Fry joining us for the first time in the building. Raquel, not sure where you at. You're a host today. What's going on? It's 7:02. I'm giving you like 3 more minutes. You still get it together. It's all good. So here's the deal, man. Like, so as we're going through talking about the 15 laws of invaluable growth, now we want to talk about assessing our current environment. You want to assess your current environment. So this is where we got to figure out, man, are we in a place or are we in places where it's conducive for us to grow? Now, obviously, this show is a place for you that's conducive for you to grow. You can get on here and talk to a whole bunch of different people that are above you, below you, and can push you to. We daring you to grow. That's the whole premise. We dare you to grow. So I'm really appreciative of this group because each and every day you run into fascinating people, and I'm glad we get the day started with our minds right, so we can deal with these fascinating people that continue to fascinate me. So there's some questions or a list of questions to help you get started as you assess your current situation. First thing is you want to ask one of the questions you can ask yourself is, as it relates to music, what songs lift you up? Do you have some particular songs that just you listen to this song and it just really gets your spirits up, motivates you, pushes you out? I know one of the songs that pushes me out to go and go and charge or seize the day is this song called "Get Up, Get Out, and Get Something" by Outkast. It says, "Get up, get out, and get something. Don't let the days of your life pass by. You better get up, get out, and get something. Don't spend all your time trying to get high." So it's like, hey, get up, get your butt out of bed, get out the door, and go get something. So that's one of the songs for me that really, anytime I hear it, I'm ready to go. I'm going to go change the world. Pat, what's the song that lifts you up?
Well, and we're different people from different generations.
Absolutely.
But I've always been very fond of "We Are the Champions."
We are the champions. Yeah, you thought I didn't know that? I know that one. Don't worry, I know that. Raquel, what's a song that lifts you up? And everybody in the comments below, what's a song that lifts you up? What's a song that lifts you up that causes you to get motivated, or causes you to feel like a champion? You ready to? Yes. All right, Raquel, what's a song that lifts you up?
"Lovely Day" by Bill Withers.
Oh, don't. That's what I'm talking about. Lovely Day. Look at that George Foster. Every day I'm hustling. What's the song that lifts you up? And so it's important to know, guys, because there are going to be times where you need to get that song. And you got to just go to the car on your break, pop the CD in, and just get your mind back right. That's what you got to do sometimes, man. So what's the song that lifts you up? Well, people that are watching today, they're not participating right now. Y'all know how we do. I know y'all typing right now. It's like I'm talking faster than you typing. That's okay. I'll wait. All right. So the second piece, as you have your questions to help you get started, is your thoughts. What ideas speak to you? What ideas speak to you? So for right now, for those that don't know, I'm a certified financial educator. I'm working on building a school. So the ideas of the classes, they speak to me right now. Ideas that have to do with inspiring kids, they speak to me right now. Whenever I get one of those, man, let me start working on that idea. So what ideas speak to you, Pat?
Well, like I said, it always inspires you when you can help somebody else. So, one of the best ways to forget your troubles is to help somebody else with theirs.
Absolutely. Raquel, what about you? What ideas speak to you?
Anything that allows me to be creative. So anything that allows me to use my hands or express myself artistically, those are the kinds of ideas that inspire me. Now, I also, like Pat, I also get inspired by other people's, by finding ways to help other people just kind of get their message out. I think marketing is in my blood. It just is. I mean, and it's weird because to be in a marketing and advertising arena, I fall for commercials like all the time. Let it be a baby on a commercial. I'm probably going to try to buy the product, but I'm always inspired by anything I could do with my hands and be creative.
Fantastic. We talked about music. We talked about thoughts. Now we talk about experiences. What experiences rejuvenate you? Man, that made me think a little bit. I think for me, experiences when I'm dealing with other people, like this rejuvenates me. This is the experience that rejuvenates me. Being able to inspire other people, find out what's going on in their life, where they're going, where they're headed. That really rejuvenates me. It's just something about it. I just love to do it. Pat, what about you?
Well, and I've always enjoyed the teaching side of any business. Again, if you really need more friends, don't go out looking for a friend. Go out and be a friend. And when you help them get to that next level, and you could see the light bulb go off in their head,
Yeah.
and you've actually provided a service that they really truly needed. They may not even realize they needed it, but it's like that's what I've been missing. When that hits, it just it makes your week.
What about you,
Yeah.
Raquel?
I would almost have to agree with the both of you. Since I've started doing my rants on Facebook on Sunday, it's when I can find the one person that can identify with my story and starts communicating with me in the comments. Because unlike Blab, the Facebook Live is one-sided. So it's me talking to people and commenting, and they're liking and stuff like that. So when I can find someone that can, I don't want anyone to experience pain. There I go, being a people pleaser. So if anyone can live vicariously through any of the craziness that I already went through, then I'm always like Pat. I'm like, well, let me tell you a story, and let me tell you how this ended up, because it looks like you're going down a similar road. So I love talking and engaging with people. That's one of the reasons why I like being in the customer reaction business that I'm in right now. I think, to where I work during my 9 to 5, it's easy for me to probably just be like, oh, I can't take this anymore. But I meet so many people. I get the opportunity to be engaging. So, and also when I get to help younger people who are younger than me, and they go, oh, I never thought of it like that. Just, similar to Pat, or like, Oprah calls it the aha moment. If I could be a part of someone's aha moment, that experience makes me feel awesome.
Absolutely, man. So we talked about music, thoughts, and experiences. Now, friends, what people encourage you? What people encourage you? And I can tell you, man, do you want to find out who encourages you? It's kind of like, man, find out who doesn't encourage you. You got some people that are drainers, and you got some people that are uplifters. And I just really tend to love the people that have the positive content. They're looking at the positive side of life. They're focusing on what can go right instead of what can go wrong. Those are the people that really encourage me, and very, very difficult to find. But the people who are always looking at, man, here's what we can do versus here's what we can't do. Go ahead, Pat.
Well,
Family.
Thank you for joining our family.
Absolutely. Miss Raquel.
I'm going to say people like you, Evan, people who are always motivated, who are go-getters, but who also are like truth slayers. Like if you are a person who, can know you're not trying to hurt somebody, but you will tell them, exactly what it is that they need to know. Like you said earlier at the top of the show, don't call me if you don't want an ERGJ opinion. So, yeah, people who are, I like doers. I like go-getters. I don't like negative Nancys. I don't like people who just find, like I said, there are some people who would just be like, I'm angry and I just don't know why. Like, why do you want to live there? Like, find out why you're angry, put it in a book and put it on the shelf. You know what I mean? So yeah, I like people who encourage me are people like you, people like Pat, Mr. Beatles. Où est Monsieur Gaulton? Where is Mr. Gaulton? Donde está el Monsieur Gaulton? Where is he? You guys inspire me. So just want to say that.
Fantastic. Got music, thoughts, experiences, friends. What about recreation? What activities revive you? I like reading. So reading kind of revives me. But if I was talking about something physical, I like trying something new, something I've never done before. That could be pretty exciting. So that's what kind of revives me. Doing something out of the norm. What about you, Pat?
Well, so just being by yourself sometimes. And one of the best pieces of therapy equipment I own is an old motorcycle. And I can just go out on a Sunday morning and just disappear for a couple hours. And
It's beautiful.
And you can't answer the phone when you're on a motorcycle. Well, you shouldn't. There are some out there, obviously. But just taking the time and being with yourself, taking the pause, and if that means taking a ride or taking a drive and just going out by yourself for a little bit and taking the pause. Think it through.
Okay. Taking a
Dance.
pause. Yeah. Dance.
Dance. DANC. Dance always revives me. And like I don't just do it just when I'm in a bad mood. I just anytime I hear music, I put movement to it. So I'm always, even when I don't hear music, I put movement to it. So dance is the one activity, no matter what it is, hip hop, ballet, modern, Horton technique, Dunham technique, all those things, they revive me.
Yeah. And she said, Freda said riding on too. She ride that motorcycle too, huh? You're a rider too. Hey, so we got music, thoughts, experiences, friends, recreation, soul. What spiritual exercises strengthen you? What spiritual exercises strengthen you? Well, for me, I would say meditating, but I would say more so when I think of meditating, I don't know if it's kind of necessarily spiritual or not, but I like to walk outside and look at the sky. For some reason, that really strengthens me, just because I know that it's something bigger than me. That I can't explain how the sky's up there, the clouds up there, and then all the different stuff that goes on in the sky. So really, I don't know if it's spiritual to me. Just going outside, looking at the sky, that's something that works for me. That's an exercise. Obviously, just going on a walk and just looking up like, wow, look at the sun, look at the clouds. That really just kind of strengthens me. Pat, what about you?
Well, I'm going to go the opposite way, actually. There's a good book that says where two or more are gathered and are working together on the same purpose. And that's what we're doing here this morning is, two or more are gathered and we're working on the same positive motion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Raquel.
I think there's two spiritual exercises that strengthen me. And the first one is the one that I can have immediate access to. I have to, when the sun is out, I have to go and stand under it. I have to, when I'm done here, I go outside, I open the door to my back and I stand on my deck and I find the sun, no matter where it is. And I like to stand outside and receive the sunlight. The other thing is I grew up in New Jersey, and in New Jersey, you're always 30 minutes from the shore, no matter what. So similar to what you said, looking at a body of water, to me, it puts me in check. Specifically the Atlantic Ocean, not a lake where you can see the other side, but when you can sit on the beach and there's sand in front of you, beyond that is this ocean, and perhaps way out in the horizon, there's one of those trucks that has big barge that has the containers on it, and it's so tiny. To me, the ocean puts me in check. It lets me know that I'm so small, and whatever it is that I'm worried about, it is nothing compared to, the billions and billions of people, on the planet. So I miss staring at the ocean. Living here in Atlanta, I miss being able to just drive 30 minutes, and it's sometimes watching the sunrise. So I get both of the things that I love. I would get the sun and the ocean. I almost felt like doing a dance. The sun and the ocean at the same time. So
all right, so we got music, we got thoughts, experiences, friends, recreation. Guys, anybody that's watching, feel free to answer any of these questions on the side as well. We definitely will recognize them. And we got the soul. So what about hopes? What dreams inspire you? What dreams inspire you? These are your hopes. Hope for the future. Hope for a better day. For me, my hopes, obviously, it's my big dream. That's what inspires me to, and it's not necessarily the completion of it. For me, it's the hope or the dream or the idea that we can change, and the change starts with me. And so I say it like this. I say the whole world is waiting on us. That's one of my quotes. And so me taking that position and believing that just because the narrative has been written, and this has been the narrative for, I don't know, so many years, we can change the narrative anytime that we want. And so that's what inspires me, that yes, we can change if we just choose to. Pat.
Well, and like you said, the change starts with you, so, another way of phrasing that is be the change that you wish to see in the world. And so if you wish the world to change, then you need to start with the first person you see in the morning, and that's the one in the mirror.
Absolutely. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Oh, yeah. Raquel, what dreams inspire you?
I don't know. All dreams inspire me. Okay. just dreams that inspire me are to help people. Like I said, I don't want anyone to feel any kind of pain. And I know that's like a big thing to just kind of tackle. I'm doing a lot of work here in Atlanta with women who are in transitional housing. So that, just helping them realize their dream of independence. That helps me. And what it does is I'm involved in a program, and we actually find we find the stuff within these women to see how they ended up in the situation in the first place, to get them to kind of, to get themselves out of that position. So a lot of them have trust issues because usually they'll say it's someone else that got them in that situation, someone that they put their confidence in, and they ended up losing everything and not, it wasn't a win-win for them. So I just if I could just help one person, just if you can, I think I said this before, if you help one person, then that one person helps one person, and then so on and so on. And then you've helped, at least, I don't know, maybe 20 people that you could physically touch, but you've helped way more than that just by just helping one person. So just trying to change the world, the whole Anne Frank syndrome. I believe everyone is good at heart. Just finding that thing inside of people, everyone should make the most out of every situation that they're in. It's like you said, you're in that situation because you put yourself in that situation. If you want to get out of that situation, start finding the windows and the doors and the opportunities, because everyone has the capability of changing whatever it is that they're in. So that's what I would say.
Absolutely. Music, thoughts, experiences, friends, recreation, soul, hopes, and then the home. What family members care for you? What family members care for you? Hey, my mom, Mama Dukes. That is the first person to come to mind, man. She is always there. Obviously, my whole family, but mom's comes to name first for the family members that care about me. George Fry said his wife. That's right, man. Good wife. That's what I'm talking about. Pat.
Oh yeah, and there's nothing better. There's nothing more special in this world than that one you've decided to spend your life with. And I've been married since 1981. So I've been married a long time. And how do you build a relationship that lasts for decades? And why in the world did she ever put up with me? But
she likes you for your mother.
You didn't say a relationship that lasts for days. You said for decades.
Decades.
Raquel, what family members care for you?
I would have to say my son. It took me to birth a human for me to get the compassion and the unconditional love from a human. So my son he's 25. He's awesome. He graduated from Georgetown. He works for Fannie Mae. And what I feel is like all of the positive seeds that I planted in him. My goal with raising my child was to break cycles, was to show someone unconditional love without, without wanting anything in the back. I'm your mama, so you owe me. No, none of that. Just to kind of raise him and have him be this awesome person, give him praise, give him confidence, make sure he knows the difference from right and wrong. And then sometimes I find myself, even as the parent, I'll be like, hey, dude, I'm having this issue. And he'll be like, yo, mom, you raised me. You got to be a superstar. Go out in the world and conquer everything. He won't let me slip even for a moment. He's kind of like you. ERGJ. If I have to look at Pat, I have to do it this way for the camera. But he's kind of like, he reminds me a lot of you. And that's why I always say things like, there are things you can learn from the new generation. Like, don't be so closed-minded to think that you know everything, when you're older. Like, I'm in my 40s. The younger generation, they have a different way of doing things. You know what I mean? And they're learning faster. For some reason, this world is speeding up. I won't even get into that today. But, my son, to get back to the question, he's just like, it's unconditional and it's obvious. Like and he always, when he goes out, I'm just going to say this, he always calls me because people don't believe, number one, I'm his mother because I look so whatever. And he brags about the relationship that we have. So he's always like, yo, you need to talk to my mom. She's so cool. Watch. And next thing I know, I'm being FaceTime. And then he's on some, outing with some girl. And I'm like, okay, hey. So, I love my son.
Fantastic, man. So we got music, thoughts, experiences, friends, recreation, soul, homes, and hopes. Giftedness. Giftedness. What blessings activate you? What blessings activate you? I'm Pat. I'm gonna defer, Pat. I've got to think about this for a second.
Well, and like in all things, you should start your day by counting your blessings. You know, and we've been talking about family for a little bit. So, I mean, that's one of your first blessings is the family you have. And if it's not the family that came biologically, it's the family you create. You know, it's a community you create around yourself. And that's what we're doing here. We're building a community. We're building a family. And don't be late for breakfast tomorrow.
I think for me, I would say I would count this a blessing, my freedom. The freedom to speak and say and do and go and all on my own time and on my own free will. For me, it activates me to know that I'm free. I know what it felt like to feel like I was the caged bird that couldn't sing. So it really activates me when I think about my freedom. Raquel.
I'm the blessing that activates me is there is a clear protection around me. I've been in situations, I think I shared this on my Facebook page. I found myself homeless for 128 days and no harm came upon me. I always had a place to sleep, even though I didn't know where it was, but nothing happened. And I've made some choices in my life and I've always ended up protected. That's why I know my stories need to be told. There's a greater purpose for me. I have to continue to do all the things that I do, continue to share and reach out to people. So the blessings that activate me, I'm writing down every question that you said because I'm going to use this content on Sunday. Now, the blessings that activate me are just knowing that I'm protected. And you know what? I believe in God and I don't want to take that for granted. I don't want to be like, oh, he got me, so let me just see if I can run in some traffic, and that brings me to also, not necessarily counting your blessings, but count your savings. Count every time that you have been saved. When you step out into the street and a car comes back and you have the physical ability, the mental ability to be able to step back off that street while that car goes past you, you just got saved. So that's the savings. Count the times when the house, something caught on fire in your neighborhood and it wasn't your house, or something happened in your house and you were out. So count your savings as well as your blessings. And then those are the things that, and see how big your blessing account is when you start counting your savings. So that's my little thing.
And then next you got memories. Memories. What recollections make you smile? What recollections make you smile? So as you think back into your memory banks, you start coming over these things that you reminisce. It puts a smile on your face. What recollections make you smile? Pat?
Well, one of the things, and we were, I guess, family and everybody else had real concerns, and rightfully so. But one of the things that we did is we actually did a home birth for one of our children. And if you haven't actually gone through that, and people did it for thousands of years up until the last 100 or so, right? But if you haven't actually gone through that with midwives and the whole thing, and actually seen your own children come to this world, it is something that you'll never forget. I mean, it's just something that's spiritual. It's with you forever.
Man, absolutely. Home birth, man. Oof. I'll probably pass out. Raquel, what about you? What recollections make you smile?
Well, not obviously, just my son and the birth of my son. I had my son when I was 19, and I was in awe of him. Like, it's this weird thing to be able to produce a human. My son also came into this planet around the time of, I believe, the Gulf War. So I was like, oh my God, I'm bringing this person out into this planet. Am I going to be able to protect him? Like, is this war going to last forever? Those are the things that I was having. I actually went into labor on April 1st, and he didn't come out into this planet until April 4th. So just the memory of seeing him for the first time and touching him. And, it's like, this is a person. And then he would just, look at me like, hey, I'm hungry. Like no one else could feed him. You know what I mean? And I was younger. So it took me a minute to just kind of like react to him. My mom had to say, girl, talk to him. And I was like, hey, hey. But as obviously our relationship has evolved over that, just once I got over the fascination of bringing a life into this planet. So just thinking about him and thinking about when the doctor actually put him, on my chest, and you could feel the weight of this person that had been wiggling inside of you for 9 months, man. It was just, it's just an awesome kind of just to, to touch that little flabby, fat little thing. So the memory of having my child, that was awesome.
Yeah, I think for me, man, I think I'm like achievement driven. So when I think about some of the things that I've achieved in life that were against the grain or outside of the norm, like my first house, had my first house when I was like 20 years old. That was against the norm. I never lived in an apartment. I just went straight and got a house. How I did that, I don't know, but it happened. Things like that. It really puts a smile on my face to know that I'm being different. I'm living different, and I feel like I'm blazing a trail for other people to follow. So that really puts a smile on my face. Some of the things that I can think back to, man, I've been through that. I achieved that. We did that. I don't know if it's checking stuff off the list or just understanding or just knowing that we were able to do it. And that gives me hope that I can do anything, really, at the end of the day. And last question, man, comes to books. What have you read that changed you? What have you read that changed you? Now, you guys know I'm an avid reader. I read a lot. We can talk about the Bible, things like that. But I'll give something else. I'll say the number one book for me that I read that changed me was As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. As a Man Thinketh. Yeah, Alchemist is good too. Oh yeah, Alchemist is that is too. Oh my goodness, I got a lot of them, but I would say As a Man Thinketh. That I read that before The Alchemist, so that book actually changed the way that I think and process. By James Allen. Pat, what book? Name one. I know you probably read a lot too. Have you read that changed you?
And yeah, I have read most of the self-motivation stuff, but the one that actually made me really take a pause and say, I'm doing this wrong, was the 4-Hour Work Week.
4-Hour Work Week. Look at it. We're about to get some good books going on here.
No, I'm writing that one down too. 4-Hour Work Week.
And it talks about the new, just a different way to live in our society that most of us don't think about. And he travels the world, employing people in the third world and selling their content to this world. So, but it was a very thought-provoking book. It's like, man, I'm doing this wrong.
Who's the author of that 4-Hour Work Week? I think I went and found it before, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. Last name Ferriss. His last name is Ferriss. I think it's Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss, I think. Yeah. Raquel, what book have you read that changed you? And I see we got Behind the Shoot that just joined. But the question is, what book have you read that changed you? This is a part of just asking a list of questions that have helped you to change. This is really good because you got to think, and it puts you in a happy place. Raquel.
I love Toni Morrison. She writes a lot of fiction. She's the first person to ever inspire me. Well, not the first person. I like to write too. So she inspired me to want to write. She didn't start really writing and getting her books out of her until she was like the age of 35. She's also a professor at Princeton University. She always said she is the one person that if I ran into her, like, you know how most people, if they run into a celebrity, they would lose their mind. If I got in a room with Toni Morrison, I would be the idiot in the corner. Like, oh my God, do I look okay? Like, what can I say to her? But she wrote, I read a couple of her books, but it wasn't until I got to Beloved that it really changed my life. It changed my life so much that I read that book at 3 points in my life. I read it before I was a parent, while I was pregnant, and then after I became a parent. Just because she talked about, she actually took the lives of her children because she did not want them to go into slavery. So it's about how can you love to me, it's my interpretation, is loving somebody too much. What does that mean? Was she selfish because she took their lives? Was she really thinking about their future because she had a eerie and she didn't want them to go through that, you know, or was there something else? And then Toni Morrison has this way of writing where it seems like there's another presence in the room, like someone else is reading over your shoulder and also giving you their opinion. She writes in this eerie kind of like, I don't know, pseudo omni person. And it's a great way for me to just kind of disappear. So I've read everything that she's ever written. But yeah, Beloved was the one book that really kind of captivated me.
Cool. So we asked a couple of questions to help you understand who and what nurtures you personally, and then figure out whether you are, whether or not you're getting those things. So we had a list of questions that relate to your music, your thoughts, your experiences, your friends, recreation, soul, hopes, home, giftedness, memories, and books. Hey, these are questions that you can kind of ask and help get you going, right? Because we're talking about the law of the environment. So as we reflect on these things, we understand what type of environment we need to be in to grow. We need to understand the type of environment we need to be in that will nurture growth. Just by asking those questions, have the time to think and get into a happy place. But hey, that's our show today, man. Raquel, you got any last words for the peeps?
Just continue to be true to yourself. If it doesn't feel right, it isn't right. Women, trust your intuition. That's why it's there. It's not gas. It is something telling you that something is wrong. So assess it properly. And continue to just, inspire other people, man. Just reach deep inside of you, find your happy place, and just let that explode.
Pat, any last word for the peeps?
I believe in you.
I believe in you, right? I'm phenomenal, and so are you. Here's the deal, guys. This is the show where we're daring you to grow. We're daring you to put yourself around people and situations that's going to prompt you to grow. Hey, you grow on purpose. That's our show today, man. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock. We're here Monday through Saturday at 8 o'clock. We are wealthy. We are healthy. We are happy. I'm sorry, 7 o'clock. What did I say? At 7 a.m. Eastern. I was saying, 7 a.m. Eastern time. We're here every day at 7 a.m. Eastern. We're wealthy, we're healthy, we're happy, and we're out.